On 7/3/23, basically last week, an interesting appellate court case came down in Los Angeles County, second appellate district out of Los Angeles County. It was Nigel versus Burbank Unified School District, and the court confirmed that a PE teacher was liable for a knee injury, an ACL injury that occurred to a student. One student, they were playing flag football, one student pushed the other student and sustained an ACL injury, and they actually held the PE teacher liable. And I thought it was interesting because they noted, they literally listed why they felt the PE teacher was liable in the case, even though a student pushed him playing flag football. And some of the issues that came up, or some of the points that the court noted, was that plaintiff was 14 years old, 4'8", and weighed about 70 pounds. And they noted that plaintiff participated in the school's show choir. They thought that was an interesting point. And the guy who pushed him, a kid, they use first names because they're minors. A kid, Gianni, was also an 8th grader, was 5'5", almost a foot taller, I guess, and weighed 110 pounds. So the fact we got a 70-pound kid being pushed by a 110-pound kid was noteworthy by the appellate court. And during that class, Gianni had made fun of plaintiff's lack of athleticism and sports knowledge. And I'm just kind of going over the points that the appellate court made. During kickball, Gianni repeatedly threw a ball at plaintiff, and they quoted, unnecessarily hard. Before the injury, the teacher was a guy named Washhausen. And Washhausen had been teaching John Muir Middle School for 21 years. And basically they explained that Washhausen's class rotated through multiple sports in 5-week units. And the students were not allowed to opt out of any particular sport. That was something that the appellate court thought was noteworthy. Student Washhausen's class routinely engaged in roughhousing and often directed pushing, hitting, and slapping and the like at plaintiff. And the appellate court noted that one student, Richard E., routinely pushed a plaintiff during class. And then they also noted that during a ultimate frisbee game, Richard grabbed and twisted plaintiff's arm and asked plaintiff if he wanted to die. Plaintiff reported that to the vice principal, and the vice principal and the plaintiff didn't do anything to discipline, or they never even talked to Washhausen about the fact that Richard had been bullying plaintiff in this action, the kid Nigel. So another student, Nick F., who was also a friend of Gianni's, the kid who pushed the other kid, threw plaintiff around during a soccer game. It hit him in the shins with the stick during a field hockey. During football games, Nick would jump early before the play started and slam into plaintiff. Approximately 1 week before the incident, Nick approached plaintiff from behind and shoved him to the ground so hard that his head bounced off the ground and walked away laughing. Washhausen actually saw that and yelled at Nick in front of the other students and asked plaintiff whether he wanted Nick to get in trouble. And the appellate court goes, plaintiff answered no, because in his view, snitches got stitches. Washhausen did not discipline Nick in any manner. And then they also noted that Washhausen's supervision of the class was passive. He frequently used his cell phone during class to text, make calls, and access Facebook. As described by Eloise, who was a witness to the case, pretty much any time we played any sports, Washhausen was off on the side of the shade on his phone. And the appellate court also noted that Washhausen often became frustrated with his students during class and would call them such names as idiots and losers, and he would tell them that they sucked. In an event of altercation or any type of injury, Washhausen, the PE teacher, would admonish students not to go home and whine about this to his parents. It's interesting the fact that this decision came down, and where there's patterns of abuse, even though one kid, if you're a gym owner, one kid injures another kid, if there's this kind of history of you not, or the gym owner not paying attention or not being involved or on their phones, or encouraging kind of rough behavior beyond that, it's a definite concern. And even though one member injures another member, the conduct of the instructor can be brought into question. Just something that I thought was fascinating. This very recent case that came down, where they held a person responsible for somebody else's actions who wasn't even involved in the actual incident.